Spring has sprung and summer is just around the corner, but you better not be outside sunbathing or drinking icy drinks with your pals, as once again there are lots of games dropping this month, and there is simply no time to be socialising or getting your vitamin D up. It may be a big month for Switch owners thanks to one particular green boy, but there's also lots hitting all of the other platforms, aka something for everyone. So from new releases to what's hitting PlayStation Plus and Game Pass this month, here is your May gaming forecast. The first release of this month, and perhaps the most controversial, is Arcane Studios' vampire hunting co-op game, Redfall. Despite the rightful annoyance from fans at the 30 FPS hardlock and always online connection, even when playing in single player, this Left 4 Dead style 4-player open world FPS does look pretty through all the vampire viscera. Play as one of 4 heroes, all with different unique skills, and explore the island town of Redfall, Massachusetts, where a vampire known as the Night Manager is on the list to be slayed. Slain? Murked by a bunch of quipping hunters. If you're looking for all of the fun gameplay and brilliant visual style of Arcane, with the bloody bitey garlic-hating combat of vampires, then maybe check out Redfall when it drops on May 2nd. The game releases on PC and Xbox, and can be played on Game Pass Day 1. Xbox has another Day 1 release dropping on Game Pass in the form of action-adventure game Ravenlock. Already having received lots of praise for its art style and feel, this magical adventure through a troubled kingdom has Ravenlock, the name of the game and the character, meeting fantastical characters and fighting dark monsters in order to end the Caterpillar Queen's reign of terror. With real-time combat, a compelling coming-of-age story and a 3D pixel art style, which runs in 60 FPS, Redfall. Excuse me. Ravenlock releases on Game Pass as well as independently on Xbox consoles and PC on May 4th. It's a very badly kept secret that all of us here at TTJ are fans of the FMV genre, and specifically the games made by the wonderful Wales Interactive. And much to our delight, their brand new interactive movie, Mia and the Dragon Princess, also launches on May 4th. The aforementioned Mia is just your average bartender, when suddenly her life is disrupted by the appearance of a mysterious woman with a penchant for spring rolls. Danger ensues, and with 10 different endings, there is endless fun to be had alone, or how we like to play them, in big groups with lots of drinks. The game launches on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and mobile. Oh, and it stars the actual Doctor of Doctor Who, Paul McGann. Oh, and Wales Interactive, if you're watching, we are ready and willing to be actors in your next game. The last Day 1 release coming to Game Pass this month is Fuga Melodies of Steel 2, the sequel to 2021's Fuga Melodies of Steel. This tactical RPG stars a whole bunch of cat-type people, all with their own stories and judgment system that affects their pathways in the story. Travel around in your big airship and battle against enemies in a big tank with grenade launchers and other such tank-based weapons. Set 1 year after the original game, the Tyrannus, which I think is the first game's big tank, has kidnapped a bunch of the hero children from the first game, and it's up to the rest of the children to pursue them in the Tarascus to save them and enact some revenge. The game releases on PlayStation, Xbox, Game Pass, Switch and PC on May 11th. Now onto the game that everyone has been talking about, and perhaps the most highly anticipated game of the year, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And that's tears, not tears. The sequel to 2017's Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom is a continuation of the little green boy's journey into saving Hyrule. With even more world to explore and new mechanics to abuse, this is seemingly the perfect continuation of the story. With a somewhat sexy return for Ganondorf and the new ability to fly through the skies on self-created vehicles, there is plenty for new and returning players to sink their teeth into. The world of Hyrule once again looks amazing, and though we don't know too much about the story of the sequel, we can use some context clues here and deduce that Ganondorf is being a real naughty boy, and only Link, with the help of all of his weird friends and Zelda, can do anything about it. Prepare for your Nintendo Switches to reach a new temperature as they try to run this bad boy on May 12th. Fans of the horror franchise Amnesia are hopefully getting another glimpse into the universe with 4th instalment Amnesia the Bunker. Set during World War I, players assume the role of French soldier Henry Clement as he explores the aforementioned bunker in an attempt to uncover its mysteries in, I'm sure, a very calm and casual way, with absolutely no one hunting and or trying to kill him. The game is set in a semi-open world, or bunker, I guess, with randomised elements, meaning that if you don't saw your trousers after the first playthrough, it'll be different the next time you play it. Unlike other Amnesia games, there is a new crafting system and a weapon you can use against the ghoul. Prepare for spooks when the game releases on PC on the 16th of May. Another horror game now with the Outlast Trials. This prequel to the first two Outlast game releases in early access on May 18th for PC players. Set during the Cold War, where humans are being used as guinea pigs by the shady Murkoff Corporation, you and up to 3 friends are challenged to endure the typical Outlast gory horror while evading some particularly monstrous enemies. Play as one of the 4 distinct classes, each with their own very useful skills, like seeing through walls, but don't be weird about it. Always knock first before looking into the disgusting showers. You never know who's going to be in there. It's only early access for now, but will hit consoles and PC when it releases fully later on in the year. If you have one of those fancy driving setups with proper pedals and all-around screens, and looking for something actually good to play in May, then may I suggest Racing Game of the Year, LEGO 2K Drive. Drive through the aptly named Bricklandia in your custom-built car and race anywhere with anyone in this open-world LEGO driving adventure. You know how in Forza Horizon 5 you could drive around and do challenges in between doing races and spinning wheels to get new cars? Well, you can do the same with this game, but with LEGO's distinct brand of humour. Put big giant eggs in big giant saucepans, stop alien invasions, and win races in your sick chicken car when the game releases on PC, PlayStation, Xbox and Switch May 19th. Also, I thought this game was £87 for a minute, and I was gagged to say the least. Another co-op game for you now, this time from indie developer Skybound Games, in the form of Glitchbusters Stuck on You. Play with up to 4 players, or with AI, and use their magnet legs to snap together or push away using magnetic force, which, if you're smart like me and you know about physics, is all about attraction and repulsion, baby. Set inside the net, you and your pals have to clear the world of glitches, who in this case are in the form of little globs and blobs that are being a real menace in this online world. With platforming and fighting, this colourful title should be perfect for you and your pals to get into. Glitchbusters launches on PlayStation, Switch and PC on May 23rd. I can't believe we've made it this far without having to utter the phrase post-apocalyptic world, but don't worry, we still get to use it, thanks to the gorgeous After Us. Now, to be transparent, they call it a post-human world, but if it's post-human, I'm going to say there was a little apocalypse, so it counts. Players take on the role of Gaia, the personification of nature and the planet, and this little being of light has been sent to Earth to rescue the souls of the animals, all of whom are dead, and bring them back to Mother's Ark. This somber look at the effect humanity has on the Earth lets you slide, jump and dash to explore the desolate landscape, cleaning oil and fighting back against spooky hungry ghouls as you go. This visually stunning game releases on Steam, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X on May 23rd. Ever since the first Lord of the Rings movie came out, fans have been begging to play as objectively the most fun character they could think of. No, not the sword-wielding elves, or the magical wizard, or the beardy dwarves. It is of course the balding, obsessive, fishy-smelling Gollum. Lord of the Rings Gollum tells the story of Gollum 8 years before the War of the Ring, which I assume, having not seen the movies, is a war over his precious. Is that good? I've never seen it. The game has Gollum stealthing his way through iconic locations from Tolkien's world, as well as areas beyond Mordor, encountering familiar and new characters and enemies. You bunch of nerds can get your hands on the Gollum game on May 25th for PC, PlayStation and Xbox, with a Switch version releasing at a later date. Now onto the games dropping for those of you who pay for PlayStation Plus, all 3 of which are dropping on May 2nd. And I gotta say, big month for people who like wheels. Fans of cars that make a lot of noise and go fast on slippy roads should be excited to hear that EA's 2022 title Grid Legends is hitting PlayStation Plus. With over 130 tracks to zip around and over 100 vehicles from every walk or drive of motorsport, there is plenty for the average car enthusiast to get their driving gloved hands on. The game includes create your own races and a story-driven career mode focusing on Driver 22, not to be confused with Agent 47, though both equally mysterious. With a decidedly average reception from critics and even more mixed reviews from players, I'd recommend only adding this one to your library if you really like driving fast cars in the virtual space. Another one for you virtual adrenaline junkies now, with downhill mountain biking game Descenders, not to be confused with the hit Disney Channel original movie Descendants, which I feel was aimed at a very different audience. This procedurally generated mountainous world has you bouncing and zipping down at top speed, and with the ability to control every subtle movement of your bike, it's incredibly easy to end up T-first into the dirt, which is why wearing your helmet is incredibly important. Fans of games like Trials, Steep or Riders Republic might find there's lots of fun to be had with this extreme game. Hate myself already. And lastly, onto the only game that anyone was actually excited about in the office, Chivalry 2. This multiplayer first-person slasher is inspired by medieval movies, specifically the battle scenes, aka the incredibly gory bits. Lay siege to castles, pillage villages and slaughter innocent peasants who just happen to be in the way in grand team objective maps, playing with up to 63 other sword-wielding soldiers. Customise your knight to your heart's content so that when they get their heads sliced off, they still look fantastic. The game was pretty well received when it first released in 2021, has a great track record with players, so if in the mood to get your anger out with some big sword-based therapy, this might be the safest way to do it. We're almost halfway through the year now, and despite some mid-drops from some people, not naming names, PlayStation, this month is once again chock-a-bloody-block for every type of gamer. So while you sink your time into some of this month's new releases, make sure to be kind, and we'll see you next month with another gaming forecast.